I don't know. I haven't heard from him.
I always expect him to come, so he'll probably be, you know, fashionably late at worst.
I don't know if I have his number. Well, I guess we can start. Why don't at 7:01 we call the meeting to order? I guess we're already striving, right? Streaming.
Yeah, we're already streaming.
Do we have a scribe for the meeting?
Yeah,
Maybe
I think
he's-
I volunteered last time.
Thanks, Lee.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Lee. Just a note on the minutes, we have to put on the top that it's the Southborough Ad Hoc Noise Bylaw Committee as a header. I've been trying to do that on them as they come in now, and I think there was maybe one I couldn't change, but that might have been the computer I was using at the time. So with the laptop, I can get in there and I'll edit them. I'm always afraid of editing things without permission, but trying to get those in an orderly fashion. It's been
So
difficult.
how's the header have to read? Just Southborough Noise?
Yeah, Ad Hoc Noise Bylaw Committee. So I've been saying AD-HOC, Ad Hoc Noise Bylaw Committee, Town of Southborough, or Southborough, whatever you want to put it.
Oh, the one I sent you yesterday didn't have ad hoc. It just had Southborough.
Hopefully
bylaw.
that'll be fine. It's better than nothing.
Did anybody else's minutes get rejected except mine?
Oh, no, I did, one, two, I just did three of them, and none of them had the heading on them.
Oh, okay.
And I guess when I send it, I gotta put my name, chairman, all that other stuff I gotta be doing too. So it's a little bit more formal than you would think, but hey, that's the way it's supposed to be done. Hey, how are you? Oh, he waited till the scribe got checked.
Yeah.
And he signed on. I like his
Well,
strategy,
he
John.
already knew that I had said I would do it this week because I think, because Tim's got his hands full, keeping our document, and you've got your hands full keeping us in order. So
Yeah. So let's see. Do we have any? We have minutes to approve.
Do we? I didn't see.
do?
I didn't send any. I got buried this week with work, so I'm behind my minutes.
Okay. So John, what minutes are we missing?
January 12th, Lisa's had some updates. I need to correct that. And then last week's.
Okay.
What's the cutoff date? Is it 45 days or is it 60 days?
I think it's 45.
Row. Okay.
Ruh-roh.
okay.
I'm just making notes because those are very
Yeah.
confusing sometimes, because if I don't get the minutes of a meeting, then I don't know where we stand on the meetings before. They like compound on themselves.
Yeah.
And since we're meeting so quickly, it's difficult. So
I would say out of committees that I've been on, this is the most active committee in terms of, but we've got this deadline.
Yeah. Cindy and I were just chatting before everybody joined, and we were kind of lied to about how much time this was, because I thought it was a once a month thing, and now it's like a once a week.
Yeah.
It is a once a week.
So it's funny because when I did my little spit it in front of the selectmen there, I did kind of voice the fact that, the scribe is a somewhat of a chore that, you don't really know about till you get involved, and it's quite an undertaking. And that it's been my experience in the past that we've had assistants. Each committee has had somebody from the town that'll do the minutes for us. I noticed that there was some posting for a part-time job to be
I think that's just for the selectmen.
Is
Yeah, I
it?
think it's
Wow.
for the major boards.
It's the
Only-
major,
yeah.
the
We're
major
major.
board.
We're major. Or what are we, the JV?
The planning board approves their own, or gets their own line item approved every town meeting for their budget, and then the other committees are approved through other line items. So if the townspeople want to pay for it, then.
Yeah. I remember I was on the municipal facilities, and we had the town planner actually came And she took minutes every time, and it was all, you know, in a certain format, and it was very good.
So Pete, what
But
do you
first
think?
order of business,
wanna-
order of business is election of vice chairman. Do we have any nominations?
I think we had a nomination, right?
All right,
I think we had a volunteer, so I nominate Tim.
all right. I second that. We want to have an
Okay.
election, and anybody else want to be nominated, or how many say? Discussion? No?
Let's
Okay,
go,
so
Tim.
Yo,
we're gonna have to do a formal vote, Tim. Cindy, yay or nay?
yay.
John, yay or nay?
Yes.
Lee,
Yay.
yes or no? Lisa,
Aye.
and Peter Goodney says aye as well. Good luck, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you,
I'm gonna
Tim.
resign now. I take it you're voting for yourself? Is that
I mean,
something?
am I supposed to abstain? Because I think I
No.
abstained.
No, you get to
I
vote.
can vote.
I think you can vote for yourself. Why not? All right,
Sure, then sure, I vote for myself.
You're gonna vote for
6-0.
somebody else.
Next on the agenda is a public comment. This is more a formality in case we have to reach out to somebody to answer some of our questions, but it is on the agenda.
Yeah. We have only technically Chief Paulus and Sam Stivers are the only people in the audience. So,
Nobody from the Board of Health?
no,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we'll
Public
get right.
comment in there twice, right?
yeah,
Yes, it was in there in case we needed people in the meeting,
Yeah.
and then at the end, we'll open it up.
yeah, to keep it so people can join at the beginning of the meeting and not have to wait till 10:30 before they finally get a chance to speak.
Right.
Tonight, it won't be hopefully 10:30.
God, I hope not.
Maybe 10 o'clock will be, no. All right, let's get right into it. Unless anybody else has anything else, we'll get right into the draft.
Where's the where in our agenda is the document for just the update for the email? Is that right away? Can we jump into that or skip to that just to kind of get
Yeah,
this
that'd be
thing done?
I don't quite follow you.
So Lisa sent out the draft email update to send out. Can we just get that off our plates early on, and that way we at least can make sure this is walked away with?
Okay.
This is the email update to the survey respondents, right?
Yeah, like just this is all part of that public forum piece to jump into that.
You mean this advertisement that
Basically-
you have up right here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
what he's put up there.
Okay.
Did you see it? I sent it out to everyone.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is
Right.
sort of a
And
number
Lee, I know you
7
responded.
item.
Yeah, I don't know if it's somewhere else on the agenda. I just had it up on my screen right away, and I just figured we could put this to bed pretty quick and then
Yeah.
have it saved in the background.
Well, I think it would go under item 7, but yeah, there's no reason we can't do it, right?
If
Sure.
you're okay with it.
Good.
I even like your graphics.
Yes. I mean, it's very similar to the last one we did, right?
Yeah,
Just different date and time.
yeah. But Lisa also put, more text in here about information and all that. So
Okay.
I think it's a good start. Lisa, the only change I put was at the beginning, I thought we should put the information about the public hearing. So in case people don't skim to the bottom, they see
Okay.
it right away.
Oh, yeah, that's
Great.
good. That's good.
Otherwise, I personally don't have any changes.
Me either.
Yep, it looks good. And thank you, Lisa, for doing that, especially all those links and everything. You checked them all and they all work?
How do we send
don't
this
know.
out? Is
I
this,
don't know if I checked them. I think I did. It was so long ago. I know, Tim, you sent me the PDF of the results without the addresses at the email addresses at the end to send out with this. Is it available on the town website so we could use it, so we could link it? Or is that?
it should be on where our minutes are posted.
I can't find anything. I've gone to all of that, but I don't know if I see it there.
John, do you know how Beth gets that stuff? Because she got that survey results. And I don't know if it came from you or from the town for where she.
it comes from, technically, the town's not very supportive of my Southborough, although I'm saying this as a public record, because the town doesn't like an independent reporter or an independent person. So she actually, for most of the stuff, she goes to the meeting, she watches the town virtual call meetings and goes to the town and pulls down the notes. And that's how she got that. And although that one, I think I forwarded from my Southborough email to her. So there's a public record that I sent it to her.
Okay, so that could explain where that document came from. So I
But
thought
it was a public document. That's why,
yeah.
I
No,
sent
that,
it because it was already public.
that explains. I was wondering if she pulled it from the town website or
She usually does.
yeah, that's kind of what I thought she did for that. So that's why I was hoping it was posted with
Okay.
that. But regardless, like we have it, we talked about it. It's part of public record. We can share it.
Okay.
What I
So-
don't know right now is if this is saved as a PDF and attachment, or if we're going to put this in the body of the email. I mean, I would imagine we want this in the body of the email so the links actually function as links in the way that this is written.
Yeah, that's true.
So I would think like this is what we're going to use. We copy and paste this into an email.
Yep.
I'm waiting for Jay to get back to me. I followed up again today on the proxy send of the distro list. So as soon as he gets back to me about that, technically, we can figure out how do we send this. So we're just waiting on that, and this can accompany it.
I wonder if we could ask the town to put it on their, a link on the town website. So then we could refer to it.
What do you mean by a link on the town website? What's
Like the noise bylaw survey results. So you just get town, you get to the town page there and you could just click on them.
it's a lot of information for everybody to digest. I think it's fine to send the results in the email in the context of what this is.
Yeah.
And it's going to be posted with our minutes. I don't know if we necessarily want the results just freely floating there without a little bit more context as to what it is and all of the other pieces of it.
Yeah, I would
I
agree.
wonder, well, then I wonder if we could at least put in the meeting minutes that contain the survey results and put like the date, so they don't have to go through all of our minutes. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we've talked about the results several times since that point. We could do the main one when we got them back.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
wanted people
post
to
a
be
link,
able to.
you add the link to that particular attachment from that particular meeting.
Right. Is that possible? Is that something that can be done?
I would think so. You just have to copy the link and paste it into this document, right?
I mean,
Is it out there? Is that? No.
Right, because if it's on the Southborough Town website. It's gonna go.
I mean, I'm sure it's out there. The real question is, what does it add to this?
Yeah.
Because it's going to make us find the link and make sure everything's working and all that. It's just extra things to do.
Yeah.
So
I
it's,
think, yeah, I agree. I think this is easy. It's going to
Okay.
go to those 125. They'll have the file if they want to look at the results of the survey. And then they have the additional information and they know when the meetings are coming.
I mean, I would think that, there's 400 people that took the survey. They might want to see how they lined up. They're obviously interested in the subject. They took the 10 minutes. They want to see, I want to see how did I fit in that program? I would think that, let's try to make it easy for them to do that. Even if we just put parentheses, meeting minutes for, whatever it was, January 5th contain the results of the survey.
So I don't know if this helps you guys, but my wife did, got the survey. It's public record, and she did a very, reasonable summary of the results that are actually readable by somebody who's just interested.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be very useful because you can see how you line up against it. Again, it's not part of the committee, but she took the work to educate the public of what we're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's just as easy I would love to see this go out this week. I mean, soon. Let's,
Yeah.
to those 125, why don't we go ahead and send it the way it is with the actual results of the survey? Because it is outlined and in the email, but maybe we should consider putting that, I don't know if the town would link to it, or maybe we put this same thing on the town website, encouraging people to go to the meeting, and here's some other things if you want to get up to date, and maybe they could link the survey results to this within the next couple of days, but at least get this out to the 125 that wanted an update.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yep, I'm fine with it. I was just, throwing out ideas. If everybody's cool
I
with
was
it,
just perusing through our old minutes, and we don't have that many of them out there, but we don't have the minutes posted, at least publicly yet, on that had the survey in them.
John, do
That'd
you
be
know
the
what
12th.
date that was? Did I go?
That'd be the 12th. So let me send that out tonight.
Good. So to that point, then I think if we want that specific meeting, we could just link to that specific YouTube
Okay,
video if we wanted to do it that way,
okay.
because that is already posted.
Okay.
Right, yeah, that's true. All the videos that's out there immediately.
Yeah.
Do we want to
All
put a
right.
note under there that whatever date we went through the survey? Or no? I mean, I don't know if they're really gonna, I mean, sometimes people really want to just look at the results.
Right. No, I'm fine with what you guys said. Let's just leave it as is, and
I don't think we have anything wrong by leaving it as is.
yeah.
The only thing that I would say is we're planning to attach the draft to this email, right?
Yep.
We're talking about reading the draft and
Oh, no, I don't think we were gonna, were we gonna, did it say it in there? Please, well, so please mark your calendar. I don't think we were gonna do
we've
the
scheduled
draft
the
to
next
this
public
one.
meeting to review the draft of the bylaw. To review a draft, which should be a draft of the bylaw. Right?
Yeah. So I don't think we were planning to add the draft to this. This was more of a, it's coming, and then the week before the meeting, we were gonna have the final draft, more of a finalized draft, and we would be sending that out through my Southborough, through emails, et cetera. So there'd be another email that would come up with specifically the draft.
So I just added this line then, so that way they know to look for it in the future. A draft will be published for review in advance of the public forum. Please mark your calendar and attend this virtual meeting.
Perfect.
All right, so that sounds good. We'll
Okay.
accept that.
So this is good, and then once I get from Jay, we can send this to the list of people through the approved process in the next couple, hopefully next couple of days.
Yep.
Perfect. So this is good. One thing is off our list.
I'm sorry I had to leave to take that phone call. What did we decide?
We decided that this version of writing will get copy and pasted into the body of an email coming up. Hopefully to go out in the next couple of days as soon as IT allows us, the town's IT department tells us what the process is to send it. And then at some point, what you missed the most is we have to figure out how a draft is going to go, because we need to post it in advance for people to read through before our meeting.
Mhm.
We just have to figure that out. But we added a line here that says a draft will be published for review in advance of the public forum.
Do we have to vote on accepting this?
I don't think so. I think we just had discussion and it's approved. And we can
Okay.
if you want.
And agreed to the
Yeah.
version, that's all.
It's not overthinking email.
All right, let's get to the outline then.
Okay, so draft, I updated this to V4 now to start tonight's edits.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah.
I just updated this version to V4.
Oh, okay.
starting today. So we're working on V4 tonight.
Okay.
I have no changes from V3 on my screen, so if anybody has done any more homework and they have a place to start, we can dive into your specific location.
Tim, I see that Heather's online. I'm wondering if we could discuss the business and industrial noise section. I just want to, Heather, are you available to comment? I don't see her on camera. Maybe she's walked away. Okay, so she's there.
I'm coming. Hold
Yep.
on. I just had a call, but
Is this a good time, or do you want us to
no,
wait?
it's a good
little
time.
while?
It is no, it's a good time. It's a good time. So I did look at the this is the new section on the business industrial noise, and I mean, I am certainly one in favor of kind of, you know, trimming things down. I think that I was concerned though about that first paragraph being taken out, because the first paragraph was more about the I think it was the 310 CMR 7.1, which kind of defines noise pollution and talks about noise in sort of the concept of noise and the kind of regulation that there's authority to enforce noise violations in general, whereas this one here is good, what we have here, but it sort of reads to me like we're limited with stationary noise sources to only enforce if they meet that DEP criteria, setting the DEP criteria for the 10. There's still an option working with industry if this is seen as noise pollution or nuisance. There still are regulations that noise can be enforced, whereas this kind of has the DEP, which is one road, but it's not the only road to enforcement. So that first paragraph, unless it's somewhere else in the document, to me is helpful.
Yeah, I don't think I saw it.
Is to be regulated 310. No, you just had it. Well, you just
I
had
think,
it.
I think this is what you sent specifically. The one above it, we did
Right.
some words
Right.
too.
Right, so that's the one I sent, but then when you put the paragraph how it stands now, my only concern was that this was taken out, where it says the part from noise control regulation 310 CMR 7.1, and that ends at is subject to the enforcement provisions specified in 310 CMR 7.52. So yeah, I think that needs to be left in, because that talks about source of noise, and noise pollution and enforcement. The enforcement there is enforcement beyond the DEP criteria, basically.
So is this just simply explaining what 310 CMR 7.10 is, or is this doing something else?
Basically, it is, but it also talks about the enforcement, the last sentence.
752 is the enforcement.
Yep. And I think that someone else could read this, businesses could read this other section, industrial, stationary, it's someone else, if that's not in there, could read the business industrial section as, oh, we're not the 10 above DEP, so it doesn't matter.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, gang, but I thought this section was going to be more of an educational section, that we were just trying to
Right.
let people know in dealing with industrial noise, this is what exists out there, A, B, C, and D, the CMR, the DAQC, and whatever you got, we were going to give you, we wanted to keep it very simple. With the whole document, we want to try and keep it simple as possible. And we didn't
Yep.
want to get into too much of the nitty gritty of it.
Right, I
Um,
mean, the first paragraph is more sort of simple, but
I think that's why we kind of went with that, in other words, industrial noise, see this, and we want to make sure that the this is correct. So that's kind of what we would, I don't know that we need to explain each and every one of those things. And of course, there is the change. We did talk
Right,
about
right.
one
I see
change
what
of
you're
changing
saying.
the noise level. That obviously we have to talk about some more, but go ahead, Lee. Did you just put your hand up, Lee?
No,
Oh, stretching, okay. At least that was my recollection, was to just have it as a reference. We weren't really gonna get into the nitty gritty
Right.
of the industrial noise, because,
So,
Actually,
ahead.
the goal was to actually go back to Heather because she provided us that language. And we wanted to make this part of the noise bylaw because it really is a standard that's being used in town. And so Heather and I talked about, she looked at it today. She said, I don't know, that section looks like it needs to come back in. And I asked her about nighttime hours, but I think, I think it makes sense that we have this section here so that people understand it. Even businesses understand it at this
Right.
point, from what Heather's
Can-
saying.
Could we just copy and paste that first paragraph,
yeah,
either before or after what
Yeah.
we've got, so we can
Yeah.
just take a look at them together
yeah,
and see if we
and,
can like,
and this part about business and industrial noise is to be regulated by DEQ. That could maybe be shortened a little bit. But like I said, I like that paragraph that they took out.
okay, so this is the paragraph.
That
put
they
back
took
can you
in.
push it over some more, Tim, to the left so I can see the whole thing? Okay, thanks.
we'd have to wordsmith it just slightly, but I wouldn't have an objection to putting that back in. It just needs something before the first words to sort of introduce it, no, in the yellow part.
Yeah.
No, but you could move
Is this, just move up?
business and
noise
industrial.
Regulated by,
Oh, I see.
Well,
Yeah,
We've already
Yeah.
said that it's business and industrial noise.
right, but the sentence that begins with noise control regulation 310 it needs an introductory phrase like that. It
Right.
So how about just
regulated
business?
by,
Yeah,
Okay,
just control.
and yeah, by noise control regulation 310, yeah.
so can we take out some of those references in the second paragraph and
Um,
make it more be about
Yeah,
enforced
yeah.
by the Southborough Board of Health?
Yeah,
Heather,
So-
can you help?
yeah, yeah.
So can we say that the noise control regulation 310 says, this states that no person or persons, like, I don't want people to think that that's part of that all we're doing is restating what's already out there. That's nothing
Yes,
new.
we're restating, true.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, that's good.
but I mean, I would be in favor of,
Or which states or whatever, however you want to.
I'd be in favor of just eliminating this one sentence. I
No,
mean, it's just-
that's the important part of it, I think. Right, Heather?
Yeah, no, I would say to leave that. I think we can potentially take away a little bit of what's below it. But
Yeah,
I would leave that.
how about if below it we say, business and industrial noise complaints are enforced by the Southborough Board of Health and Police Department.
Right, I mean, technically, there's a
just leave it
definition
at
for that. It's like fire, police, and Board of Health, but I mean, there's a definition for that.
Are enforced by the Southborough Board of and Police Department. And we don't need enforcement officials again, because
But I think it's, I mean, the way one of the policies reads, they say Board of Health, Police and Fire Department or other enforcement officials. I can't remember how, but there is an actual statement in one of these.
I know, but I think that we talked about the police would like take the reports and
Yep.
refer them to the.
I think that's right. I think that's how it works. You're right about that.
So
Yep.
let's just go with how it really works.
Yep,
The
yep.
the fire
So
department. seemed
It'd be
to-
rare that fire, I agree, they might, but I haven't seen them do that. Yep.
And can we take out after police department where it says enforcement officials? We've already said that they are the enforcement people, so we don't need that.
Is it redundant in this case, or can anybody in the Board of Health or Police Department enforce this?
The police are just gonna make a report, so it's
Right.
whoever the officer is taking the complaint, right?
Yeah,
And-
I would think it's the Board of Health is really the enforcement. They're gonna be assisted by the police department. You know, as far as the documentation, and everything, I think if this was to go to court,
Responding. to
I think it was gonna
complaints.
be the Board of Health that would probably be the one writing whatever they gotta write. Is that correct, Heather?
So maybe it should say are enforced
Yep.
by the Southborough Board of Health, assisted by. the
Yeah,
police
it would, no, but
department.
it almost would say business and industrial noise complaints are directed to the Southborough Board of Health, no.
Are enforced by the Southborough Board of
No.
Health and something. And
Or we can say with the police department assistance,
Okay,
yeah, that's good.
are enforced by the Board of Health and with the police department assistance.
With police
Yeah.
department, yeah, assistance.
Heather, does that DAQC policy information where the lines through it, does
Yep.
that need to remain?
well, that's the, well, first of all, it's down below, so we certainly don't need it twice.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I see that. Okay,
There-
perfect. I was
Um,
just double checking.
Well, we
Um,
tried, just to kind of talk about this while we're on the same thing. We tried to move everything up into one line, and then
Yep.
it was getting extremely late, so it was in other places, and we never got back
Yep.
to cleaning it up. So we were trying to make all of
Yep.
this into one sentence, and we got spent.
Right, and now we're also saying Southborough Board of Health will lead enforcement. See, that's repetitive. Business and industrial noise complaints
I mean,
are
I
enforced by Southborough Board of Health, so we're putting that twice. We don't need it twice. And, the only thing I don't like about this is where it says use Mass DEP policy to determine compliance of certain stationary noise sources. It's kind of, we don't only use the Mass DEP noise policy, we certainly, it's in our toolbox, but anyway, back to what we were saying, Southborough Board of Health will lead enforcement. We already just said that in the sentence before that.
Heather, you know what we looked at today? It had the red stuff through it. I just sent it over to Tim. Did that seem, you had said, oh, it looks like we really need to add that one line back, but did that seem to?
Which line?
Was that a good, was that good language? Maybe
I
Tim
don't know
should look.
which line you mean.
So Tim, can you pull up what I just sent you on business and in industrial? It's something that Heather and I looked at today.
Can I
I
add-
see you have your hand up.
sorry,
we-
I'm just worried about the amount of time we are spending
Yeah.
on an area that's just for educational purposes.
But I
Yeah.
don't think it is for educational purposes. It's
Then
part
we're
of the
not-
noise
we're not-
bylaw and
it is
people
not
need to
part of
know
by- it
the
is
process.
not.
Yes, it is because
We're not creating
nobody,
anything
No.
new.
nobody makes their, each department is going to look to this noise bylaw and follow through. And this is one section that needs to be included in here.
Yeah,
I
but,
understand, I understand that, but we're not
if-
creating anything new. I'm just
Right,
saying,
and
we have so
If that
much.
section was out, nothing would change.
Right.
That is
Lisa,
not directing anybody to do anything that isn't already being done. It's just an educational section.
But
Lisa, I
there's
agree
stuff
with
in
if
you.
there
that was
that
out,
Heather's,
All those things would still be going on.
I got one point of order on this one here. Heather, does this have to be written down in this document as a bylaw for you to be able to use this information to do what you're doing?
Okay, you know what? Like I said, I almost find that first paragraph more helpful. This part with the DEP, we do anyways, but there is one other place that wouldn't necessarily happen if it weren't in the bylaw, which is about, I don't necessarily like how this one's written, but how the other one's written about, the commercial source conduct a noise study. That part should be in there.
Why? That's something that the Board of Health does. It's part of doing their job in enforcing the thing. The people don't know or care about who's doing it. All they need to know is, yes, there's something called business industrial
Right.
noise. The
Right.
state has a requirement. Our Board of Health, assisted by the police, are the people to enforce it. End of story.
Right,
but
I mean, we're
businesses should
making this
know what the,
way too complicated.
I agree.
but the businesses need to know this stuff too, if they're gonna
That-
come and do business and be a good neighbor.
They do.
But we've
and-
said it. We've already said it.
Right.
No,
Tim,
the
you
whole
got your hand up.
policy, the complaints and and what the expectation is around, monitoring it is in there.
You
So-
know what?
And
I'm
we-
getting to the point where I'm like, let's just take this whole section out because we
So-
don't really need it.
That,
But
When
there's
we all
residents
agreed
that
it was
do
gonna be
want
an
it.
education tool. Now
Yeah.
we're trying to like capture the whole state thing and all of the processes that we took out when we wrote the short version. Let's just take this whole section out.
so
It's a
Heather,
state
Tim, you got your,
requirement.
all right, just a point of order. Tim, you got your hand up.
Heather, I don't know if I fully heard your answer on that last question I had. Do we need this section in this document, in a bylaw, a noise bylaw specifically, for you to be able to enforce the noise problems and deal with the situation that these businesses have?
Well, businesses don't know this, I guess would be one way. I mean, but you're saying you don't want to use this to educate. If it's in a document, businesses don't know this, I guess is a way to say that. So I don't know. So you're saying you don't,
Well, I
it
guess
would, it could move, this tends to move at a very colossal pace with, lawyers and this. I think that if it's in a document that kind of captures businesses, industrial noise, I don't mind if this is put somewhere else in the document, but if it's in a business and industrial section, that's fine too.
so. I guess
I understand
Capturing
that,
it.
but we're not really defining what that actual noise actually really is. We're just referring to the documents that say it. We're not actually even reiterating what that definition is.
so.
So we're not really adding anything to the knowledge base to the people that
Well-
read it.
No, but I thought that first paragraph that we put back does do some defining, and then I don't know that businesses and other industrial noise, or really as anyone controlling operations of a source, they don't know this. So I guess you're saying, could you work with industry or operation without this? I think legally having it in the document is helpful in working with someone because they don't know this.
So
I
I
mean,
guess,
you could probably,
Lee, you got your
Get to
hand
this
up. Let's see what
place.
you have
Yeah,
to say.
so I'm wondering if we could just get ourselves out of this whole problem by saying in this section, business and industrial noise is to be regulated by the Southborough Board of Health, period.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
that-
to have
because
a
if
really
we're trying to
short-
be educational, if somebody goes and looks up noise, then they would come down to, this section, and they would know they need to go to the Southborough Board of Health in order to get further information.
Go ahead, Tim.
I'm still not fully sure I have the understanding the answer that I was asking, or if I feel like it's been answered, Heather. With what you're doing today, we don't have a noise bylaw. With what you're doing today, you're using state guidelines to control a problem, but you're spending a lot of time on education because there's not a specific place in the town you can point to. Am I
True,
understanding you?
yes.
So you have state laws, state regulations that control the problems today, and you're using
Right.
state guidelines. So Lee, if we did what you suggested, we are now putting it completely on the Board of Health to define what that is. And the Board of Health could then say the state, or they could say something else. So it's not exactly clear because it's ambiguous.
Okay, so I guess state regulations, the way this particular matter, as does public health in Massachusetts, every local board of health has authority over their jurisdiction, the town of Southborough and their noise. But if we have nothing written, no regulation, like if we do a tobacco regulation, okay, you can only sell tobacco, you can't be 500 feet from a school, but each local board of health puts that forward. Maybe just as our own, I'm not the board, but if the board, maybe we just have to make our own regulations for noise. I think that, right, industries is going to jump quicker to understand this if it's written down, but maybe this isn't the right place to do that.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Well, I think this is a great place to put it, because not only is it businesses that know where to look for it, and residents know where to look for it if there's a complaint. I think this is the perfect
Right.
place to put this, because it's hard to find stuff on this website in the first place. So if it's part of a bylaw and we know it's specifically a noise bylaw, this is the place to put it. And as Heather said, they can create standards and guidelines that are more restrictive than the mass state law. And so if we want to put in nighttime,
I don't think they can do that.
yes, they can. I think they can. Heather, you can answer that, because we talked about the
I
decibel
don't know
level
about noise in
and
particular.
at
That's a
nighttime.
noise is a pretty tricky one, but for many arenas, we can definitely, as a board of health for a local town, put on more strict requirements than the state.
With just a vote of the Board of Health? That's
Yep.
all you need?
I don't know pursuant to noise, but for plenty of other tobacco
Like if you wanted
fines.
to limit the age of selling cigarettes, the
Yep,
Board of
you
Health could
can-
do that and
right.
say,
Yeah, because the state had 18 and a lot of towns had 21. Now the state has 21 across the board. But the 3-member board voted 21 for a lot of towns before it did for the state.
and it doesn't have to go in front of town meeting or anything?
It had to be in a public, the Board of Health meetings are public.
But not like voted at the town meeting or anything like that?
Nope.
Okay. Well, and then that's even more definitive that it should be handled by that whole thing should be handled by the Board of Health. If they have that kind of authority,
We do have that authority. Yep.
then they should be, that whole thing should be referred to the Board of Health.
So my,
They
Well,
will
I do
use-
like that first paragraph, and then if they want to say, I do like that first paragraph. And then if they want to say,
The first paragraph where it says, CMR 710-1,
Yeah.
saying which states that no person, not this states, which states?
this paragraph could go somewhere else in the document.
no, I like keeping it as separate
Yeah.
section.
Yeah.
Okay,
It makes it easy for people to find it.
okay.
I mean, we've decided that if it's gonna be there, it should be in its own little section.
In
but
that
Can we
section,
just
okay.
can we just get the second sentence or second paragraph shortened up and call it a
Right.
day?
So
We've
that's-
Yeah.
spent an incredible amount of time on
Right,
this.
just put
Right.
this paragraph, just put, right, whatever you want to put, refer to
So,
the
I was
Board of
trying,
Health.
I was trying to clean this up, and that's why I have my hand back up. There's stuff down here that we don't have reference to, or maybe we do, but I don't quite understand how they fit together. We have regulated by PAQC policy and Mass General Law. Did that need to join this as like a 1, 2, 3, the way we wrote a 1, 2, 3 down here?
Heather, do you need that DACQ policy or QC policy? Do you need that?
I mean, you could put something like using that policy. We've already mentioned CMR 710 above. Off the top of my head, I don't know what the MGL.
Should we
Will
look at what
enforce-
Heather originally gave us?
That's where I think it all came from.
Right,
Yeah,
but it was done in a way that was maybe logical.
Yeah,
Additionally adopted by Division of Air Quality Control Policy, Southborough Board of Health will lead enforcement and use DEP, Mass DEP noise policy to determine compliance with certain stationary noise sources.
yeah, I don't think we need that whole definition in there. I don't know, do you want me to just work on it and get it back to you guys?
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah,
would make
and
it
I'll just
easy.
shorten it up.
okay, yeah. Heather, can we keep it to the 2 paragraphs?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I would
so
just
let's-
think one reasonable paragraph that just
oh, yeah,
outlines the the 3 authority
Yeah.
documents that you can reference, whatever it is, the DEP, the CMR, Mass General Laws, and then who's going to handle it, you and the police. Like, it should be relatively straightforward, but we want to make
Right,
sure
I
we
mean,
got the
as I
right
said
laws in
before, I
there.
like that first paragraph, so it might be 2 very short paragraphs. How's that?
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean, it seems like this is almost what it would be right here.
something like that. Yeah,
And just wordsmith to get rid of the
yeah, I'm
redundancy,
gonna, yeah,
because we have redundancy in up here of who's doing what, and then it's down here again. So, or actually, no, we moved that. I moved it down here. So this would almost be this section here, all in yellow.
yeah, let me just look at it. Yep.
And
I
then
mean,
this
not
would-
tonight. I'll get this back
Okay,
to you
so-
for next week.
can we email Heather the piece that she's looking at to get to the 1 paragraph or 2 short paragraphs? And deal with this at the beginning of the next meeting, perhaps? In 10 minutes?
Sure, and Heather, I know that we talked about the nighttime decibel levels and stuff specifically for this section. I don't know if that's something that can go in here for this draft, but would it be something that could be added in, at a later time? It sounds as if the board has to decide if they want to create nighttime hours. I don't know how soon that could happen, or if
Yep.
it could be part of the draft.
Yep,
Okay.
I mean, I'd like to just go on the record at this point, since Heather's going to go back and do some wordsmithing, that I would not be in favor of anything that's not already a state mandate at whatever the limit is. Like, I personally don't think that I'd like to see a more restrictive implementation in whatever we're going to do. Like, if it's a state level and it's something that you use to enforce, I'm for it. I'm for writing it down to make it simple and easy to look up and to have a place to look at it, which makes your job easier. But if it's overly restrictive on top of that, I personally would not be in favor of implementing it into our Southborough noise bylaw. I'd rather leave that be a Board of Health, on your own implementation policy, not part of the bylaw.
Yeah, so I would agree with that as well. And Heather, just to, not that we talked about this earlier about there was a prior attempt to make a noise bylaw. And when we reviewed that attempt, it was a pretty good consensus that the reason why that attempt didn't fly was for two reasons. It was too complicated and too restrictive. So
Yep.
we've been trying to kind of keep
Oh, yeah,
that
no, that I
guideline
understand. Yep,
through the whole thing. So in other words, it would be, if this particular section is too complicated and too restrictive, it could affect the whole document. And
Yeah,
we're
no,
we're
I get-
obviously
I
in
get
fear of
that.
that. It's
Yep.
certainly, if you want to, there's another way to attack, if you want to, through the Board of Health want to lower some standards, then the Board of Health would have to do their own advertising
Yeah.
on that front.
no, I
But
get that.
I'm not
Yep.
that comfortable with doing it here. I mean, I think
Yep.
we've adjusted noise in a lot of areas, maybe not
Yep.
as aggressive as some would like, but we have at least tried to.
Yep.
And I think if we can just, do that without going,
Yep. No, I get
overboard,
that.
I'm just afraid that, all this is going to be for nothing.
Yep,
you
no,
know?
I understand.
Okay, so are we emailing Heather this section?
Yeah, just send me
Yeah.
that section and I'll just make it even shorter.
Okay, super.
And just, I think it's important to outline, because it's not in the laws, what the police role is going to be, that, that you will be assisted by the police for documentation
So
or
I'll
whatever.
just say assist by
Yeah.
police for
Right.
documentation or what? Just say assist by police.
Yeah, you could say just assist by police.
Okay,
Comfortable with that.
I think what we had up on the screen here is pretty close to the right path that we all
I do
kind of
too.
seemingly went comfortable going down, or at least reasonably comfortable going down this
Yeah.
path. And it just hasn't been wordsmithed. It hasn't been double checked for what does the DAQC policy
Right.
affect, and how does that affect the CMR 710, and how does all of this stuff fit
Yeah, I'm
together
just
to
gonna-
make sure it complements?
right, because we took out the MGL 142B. I just need to look that up again and see
Yeah.
if that matters,
So
but
I just
I
emailed.
can put in less words though. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I just emailed that to you, so you have the copy of this, and at the end of this meeting, I'll send you, on the same list I send everybody else, the ending state of this V4 document.
Yep.
And Heather, if you can get this done, if you can, get it finished up in the format that you want for the couple of paragraphs, and if you email it to, what is it, Noise Bylaw Committee, we'll all have it before the meeting next week.
Yeah.
And
Heather,
hopefully
is
we'll
this-
be able to make short order out of this.
Is this something that you could go offline tonight and work on it, and then if we're still meeting, bring it back?
Oh, I
mean,
see what
are
you're saying.
Are you going to need a lot of time on it, or?
That's
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I have two other jobs, so I kind of log into that while I'm
Okay.
here, but I can probably do it during the meeting. Yeah.
I mean, we'll
Yeah, no, I'll do that. That's fine.
okay. Well, I mean, you want us to call you, or how do you
No,
want to?
no, no, I'll keep this on in the background, but
Okay.
no, I can work on that, but that does lead me to the, I guess more of a question, at some point, that section probably should be reviewed by my board, as well as the
Right.
fact that this section should be, I mean, does legal look at the whole thing, or do they look at our section, or what? I can get it tonight, but obviously this is still a draft,
But we do have I did reach out to Mr. Purple to get a legal review of the document, and he did say that once we have reached the draft, to forward
Yeah.
it to him, and he'll forward it to the
There's
legal
Jay
department to look at.
Tallerman, and then for kind of Board of Health things, there's someone in that firm that I've worked with to review things for me.
Yeah, so if we talk about actual timelines of this, we're trying to do the public forum, which is an opportunity for the public to review this document on the 24th, right? Or is it
Right.
27th.
27th.
Yeah.
So we're trying to have it done that they could review it by the
24th.
24th.
Yeah, so we need to pretty much have this thing wrapped up next week in a format that we feel comfortable that it represents the direction we think.
Right, but do we need to do legal review before that?
No,
No,
No. Okay,
no.
they'll review the bylaw that we send forth, they'll
Okay.
review.
yeah, no, I'll get back to you during the meeting. Okay.
That's great. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, Heather.
Okay. We've talked a lot about a lot of sections. I feel like we have some holes in this still that we may need to start to address soon. What's the process to get a permit to have a parade in town, and how does a sound permit or something accompany that? Like, we don't have anything about how you get permission to have like an event that makes noise.
There must be a process. Maybe we
Right.
don't have to even refer to it. It would just be additional. It would just add to it. I think we should just not even bother
I
with the
think
permit
Chief Paulhouse
process.
is in the audience. We could probably ask him.
I'm sure you have to have a permit because it's going to be reviewed by all the public safety officials.
So there's probably something in place.
I'm sure the fire chief, police chief have to sign off on it, so they have to know about it, you know. So
Chief, you're here now. How does somebody go about getting a permit for say like the Veterans Day parade or something like that? And what's the process like that we would have to go through to allow noise to happen on something like that? You're on mute, by the way.
Can everybody hear me all right?
Yep.
Yes,
So I know certain events, road races come through town, bicycle races, things like that. They make a request through the Board of Selectmen. Usually they'll kick it to me or the fire chief, ask us if we have any objections or if we suggest anything, we sign off. Then it goes to the Board of Selectmen for approval. I know in the draft bylaw from 17, we had a whole section on that. I know for brevity, we had eliminated it all, but if you go back and look, there was a whole process on applying for waivers and whatnot. So I don't know if you want to look at that again and shrink it down, but we did, myself and Sam did include a process for that.
Was it this variances section?
Correct.
It could potentially poke holes in everything that we've established.
Mm,
I mean, it would still have to be part of a public meeting where people's comments could be heard too, if they tried. I mean, the thing that I'm trying to figure out is how does St. Mark's get to do their fireworks each year? That's beyond the hours. It's not a business thing. Like, they're gonna have to go through something to get a permit for that. So that process would have to probably go through the Board of Selectmen, right?
Who
Yeah,
does-
I can tell you, like right now, they're gonna be shooting a movie at St. Mark's next month.
I
So
read that.
what it's gonna entail, I know it's mostly inside, but they're gonna have trucks on site, generators, whatnot. So there's all myriad of things that can come up, all over the town. So
But-
I think you're right to just include some kind of passage through the Board of Selectmen. And I don't think it's really a large process from what I've seen from the other things I described.
So the key is that anybody that wants to do something like a parade or a movie or whatever, a road race, they contact the Board of Selectmen's
Right.
office, right?
I would say that would be the safe bet if they thought it was going to violate the bylaw.
I mean, can't we put somewhere that exceptions to this bylaw will be handled by the selectmen?
It could
Like, I don't
be
know
that
what's-
simple. I mean, it sounds like it's a reasonable solution from everything that's here.
It's similar to what we're talking about with Heather. It's, some things go to the Board of Health. Other things have to go to the Select Board.
So we would put that probably near the end. Violations and penalties enforcement. Probably
How
after.
about a letter D for enforcement?
Hmm.
Exceptions to this bylaw will be handled by the
Select Board.
select board or board,
I
whatever they're
think
being.
Can we put some constraints around it? Because we don't, I mean, is it for a short-term permit? A
Whatever
one-day permit?
whatever they deem, I mean, they're an elected board. They have a lot of authority, I would think. However, it gives them the flexibility if it's 4th of July or a movie or whatever it is.
I see Lisa's point though, like it's temporary, right? So we want to say temporary exceptions.
Yeah.
Right.
Short-term,
Okay.
temporary exceptions. In even like in regards to this movie and the generators and so on and so forth, I would think that they would have to follow like the guidelines that we've put out there for when work needs to stop and when it can start. So it's not disrupting people's sleep. So if they say, oh, you know.
That's a
Yeah, but I mean,
possibility, but
that's the
keep
whole
in
idea.
mind.
Like if like fireworks is obviously going to disrupt people's sleep.
Right.
So maybe
But
the
it's-
selectmen could say, all right, it has to be over by, 10 o'clock or whatever, 9:30,
Right.
whatever. They
It's
could.
a one-day thing,
Right.
right?
So
I think we have to say Board of Selectmen, don't we? The select board isn't doing it yet.
well,
It
it's
hasn't
by
been
the time
approved yet.
this would be legitimate, it would be switched over because it would be approved by the Attorney General,
Okay.
or it would be denied, and then we would just change it to Board of Selectmen. But
Right.
Okay.
You can leave it in. I think you should take out that must be notified. That's going to be,
Yeah.
how do you
That's
notify
up to
them?
the selectmen. That is
I
up
mean,
to
they
the
do it in a public
selectmen.
meeting.
yeah, but I mean,
That's-
like, I this is the one thing where I think there is the opportunity, because if somebody's filming on St. Mark's campus, part of it would be they have to notify the abutters of St. Mark's campus. Like that would be required.
How are they gonna practically do that? How are they gonna do that practically?
I mean, right now, what St. Mark's does is they go around and they put letters in people's mailboxes that are nearby. So it's a good faith effort to notify the abutters. It's the same way that you would tell your neighbor you're going to have a party. So it's kind of like the same thing. I think having this written down is actually in our best interest here, and I'm trying to be brief about what we write down.
I can just anticipate somebody that doesn't want it going on, say, I never got notified, and causing a big
Mhm.
problem.
Yeah.
Take a look at, in the draft, take a look at variances B, section 2.
And shall establish appropriate procedures for processing applications for variance, including such hearing.
But do they do that currently when they grant like these road race things and fireworks approval and all that? Did they do that?
I have never once gotten notification that there's something happening on Main Street and I live on Main Street.
Okay.
So
I've seen a lot of them. I've never seen a notification aspect of it. I mean, I may be wrong, but I don't recall any.
I mean, we could put in there notification of abutters is strongly suggested, or, just something like that, but I just hate to see it be, a problem.
Might I suggest that it's somebody's homework to go through what was in the draft bylaw and wordsmith it down as much as you can?
But I don't think that we can make a rule for the selectmen and how they handle it.
unless we put it in the bylaw now, unless we put it in the writing and how this is, and I mean, it's up to them to change it. They're ultimately going to be the ones that either accept it as written or they make modifications to it. It's their
True.
it's their
True.
document to it. I mean, I just know from one of our public forums, we had comment about alerting neighbors and stuff like that. I think it's a reasonable request just to let people know that it's going to be happening.
No, you know what, Tim, you're right. If the selectmen don't like it, they'll take it out. Yeah.
And I'm okay with bringing words from here in. I mean, like, we don't have to wordsmith this whole thing, but if like this section has more information in it to explain some of this, I'm okay with moving this over and then planning the wordsmith it a little later.
No, I
Yeah.
think the way it's there, it's pretty obvious and it's nice and brief.
It should be temporary applications, or let's make sure that word gets in there, that it needs to be short-term. It
says to grant special variations, variances.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a special permit for an event, but not a variance, which would allow you to conduct maybe business at a higher noise level that goes above or goes beyond hours of operation within our bylaw. I mean, I think you can't just say, okay, we'll give you this exception.
I mean, this is a little wordy, but I think that it has the right context.
Hearings on line 2 should be plural, probably.
I'm fine with that.
What do you think about the 300 feet? You think that's,
I mean, it's a defining line. I don't know if I necessarily like that as the defining line, because if they're doing fireworks, I mean, that you should have a whole area of town. But
Right.
300 feet from John, what do you think from a acoustic standpoint? Is 300 feet enough, or should it be a wider swath of proximity?
300 feet's a few houses, so for a typical party, it should be fine, right?
Yeah, I mean, what I'm thinking of is when they do their I mean, I'm near St. Mark's, so when St. Mark's does their commencement ceremony, I can hear that quite a distance from my house, and I'm
that's
already
another
quite
one, yeah.
I'm already quite a distance from that location. So,
I mean, I'm just thinking, right, you got St. Mark's
yeah,
and you got, say, the ring of houses around St. Mark's. That's maybe 100 feet. Now you got to do maybe 2 and 3 rings around St. Mark's. Now you're going to not only your house, Tim, but you're going to the house behind and the house behind to get to
Yeah,
300 feet. Like, that's a big area
you
around
can
the whole, it says
yeah.
all of Butters. Like, that's a big area.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think about like some of the noises that we're talking about here. And if there's like a, say there's a concert venue on, because we do a lot of town events, right? So this would apply to town events too, on the common area of St. Mark's where the food truck festival and all that is. Like depending on what is done over there, it can travel a fair distance within the area. So we want to talk about where the proximity in which sound travels, because that's what we're talking about.
Right.
So like when I would say within 300 feet, I mean, I would be comfortable with 500 to 1,000 feet for this, because by that point you shouldn't notice it beyond that point. So, I mean, I would be okay with extending this from a.
Well, I was actually looking to make it less. So.
Yeah, I just, you think about like I mean, you're just notifying people. It's not like
Right.
you're doing anything
No,
else.
I'm just looking about the practicality of how that's going to happen. How would that, I mean, how that's going to happen? How do people do it? Like,
Yeah, if we had telephone poles, you could put it on telephone poles.
like is it good enough to just post it somewhere, or you have to send them a
Basically,
letter, or
just
like you have
post
to,
it.
like how is they going to be notified? Like,
Well, if the Board of Selectmen doesn't like that, they can just get rid of it.
I mean,
No, if we can solve that problem for them and say, this is how we think people should be notified.
I mean,
I don't know.
From a practicality standpoint, how it's been well done for me anyway is somebody just put a notice in my mailbox, and they walked down the street and just stuck it into my mailbox and was like, hey, this is happening. That's how I found out that there was a fireworks thing going on, or some of the other minor things that St. Mark's does at time to time. But sometimes they don't do that. So if they do it, then I know. If they don't do it, then I don't know.
And
I don't
technically,
know.
that's a federal offense, I think,
Yeah.
right?
Is it?
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to put anything.
It used to
mail
be
in.
they would hang them, they would like put it behind your flag. And I guess for some reason, the post office even stopped that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the Boy Scouts, was it the Boy Scouts that do the food drive? They
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
like hang the bag on the thing, and yeah, that became an issue. I don't know why.
Okay, well then,
But-
then technically it's not okay to do it that way, but you can put a stamp on it, I guess, and mail it. to 500.
Right.
Well, or
I
they
mean,
could
it's too
just
bad we
put
don't
it
have
at
an
your front
electronic
door
solution
or
like
whatever.
email for them, but
Well,
that would
regard,
help getting
I-
everybody's email address.
we don't need to solve how they go about doing it. I
Right.
think,
Tim,
I-
the way that's written, it says deems appropriate and including notification of such hearings to all abutters within 300 feet. So the way that's written, it says you have to notify all the abutters about the hearing, not the actual activity that
Oh, you don't
is
want
happening.
that.
That's why it's in there, because the selectmen want to know if to give the neighbors an opportunity to voice their opposition to whatever event might be coming up. That's why it's in there. And I don't know how that they're going to be able to do that.
Can't you say notification of exception?
Like after the fact, once the approval is done, I think we should put in something that the selectmen may direct the applicant to notify blankety blank blank. But
Yeah, and notification.
that's the way it's written, as I see it.
yeah, I think you're right. I just changed that word to be more in line with what I was finding appropriate. The select board may require.
They require notification of the activity. Yeah,
Activity.
okay. Well, of the,
Approved.
not
activity?
necessarily the applicant, but it could be the, how would you say, of the location,
Of the event location, yeah.
right?
If you do that, then that'll cover your road races.
Okay, exceptional, okay, that's fine.
I mean, I think that this gets across the idea of
Right,
the alert, the exceptions up here, who does it, and then the select board creates their own process for it. So if somebody says, hey, I got this thing, they probably already have something to handle it.
yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
we're good
That
with
looks
it.
pretty good.
I think that was one of the holes I remember thinking about that we had to solve. There was another hole, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head that was catching me up.
Last time, didn't we leave off on a section that, because it got so late?
I think that was the educational one with the businesses.
No, we put that kind of to the side. Maybe it was this,
Oh, yeah, we were talking about kennels and the like.
yeah. Tim, I'm sorry, can you move it to the left again? Because I can't see part of it. Thanks.
I mean, we had a whole thing about like barking or straight barking or what constitutes as an annoyance and all that. I mean, with fresh eyes, does anybody have an objection to where we left off?
No, I think you could kind of simplify that a little bit by duration of more than 20 consecutive minutes submitted by an animal, period. If a person owns, controls, or otherwise cares for the animal, they are responsible.
Yeah, so yeah, you could take out those words.
I think one thing, if you go into the draft, I don't know how this word got left out, but it says vocalizing for 20 minutes intermittently, defined as an average of 2 vocalizations or more per minute in that period. So you just don't want to have it 20 consecutive minutes. Obviously, a dog might, take a break for a minute, and that's not consecutive. So I don't know how that word intermittently got wordsmithed out. Or you might have a rooster that, crows every 2 minutes for, the better part of 20 minutes or whatever. People could argue, oh, it's not consecutive.
Tim, right at the end, admitted by an animal, period, and then get rid of for which a person is responsible.
Mm.
And then it's, there you go, capital A person is responsible for an animal if he owns, controls, or otherwise cares for the animal. That cuts that right down.
Yep,
Yeah.
and that will include businesses then, yep.
Yep. Right. How do you like that? That cleaned up?
Again, I'm looking for that word intermittently. So it isn't argued, well, it wasn't 20 consecutive minutes. It was 5 minutes, then it stopped for 3 minutes, then it started again.
You go back to his other document so we can see, because he did have the word intermittent there. Vocalizing for 20 minutes intermittently. All right,
Yeah, it's the same thing.
that's
Yeah.
where to put it. So instead of 20 consecutive minutes, then
Yeah, it should be
not the
intermittently
word
minutes.
consecutive.
Yeah, I'm all right with leaving number 1 off. 5 minutes is kind of a short period, but 20 minutes, then I think that's getting on somebody's nerves.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Okay, so anybody have any more tweaks on this section before we move to another section?
What about simplifying 7A and 7B under 8?
Right, yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing.
Just let's pick one and I mean, the more I think about it, based on the citizens, the people who took the time to give us feedback, 28% of them commented on on leaf blowers. So
They commented that they want some control on them, you mean?
yeah,
But
What if we put 7B and instead of just per property, put per residential property? Because Cindy had pointed out the problem with things like cemeteries and things like that, which, are a different animal anyway.
How do you deal with a commercial property that abuts a bunch of residential properties? Like a school technically is a commercial property in this situation, and it's abutting, in certain neighborhoods, 30, 40 houses.
I would say if they only had to use one or two leaf blowers for an area the size of a school, it would be there for a long time.
mhm.
And would make a lot more annoyance than getting it over with.
Mhm.
So this is where sorry, I don't want to cut the line, but we left it as 2 options because we spent a lot of time back and forth here. We had said about maybe taking this to a public forum and allowing our townspeople to voice their opinion in that public setting. Are we going to waste a lot of time rehashing a conversation we've had over and over and over again versus just simply leaving it?
and Tim, change it to 8A,
Sorry.
8B.
I
Just,
was gonna ask, is there a better way to list an option than an A and B? Because it seems like one, like numerically one's better than the other. Is there a way that we can list it as like an 8I and 8F, or is there like something we could do where it's a little bit less 1 and 2, first and second feeling?
Cindy, you have your hand up.
I just want to point out once again that leaf blowers are, well, first of all, they're not just used by landscapers, they're used by tree crews and other businesses. If we're limiting the hours that these contractors can work, okay? If we start limiting the pieces, arbitrarily limiting the pieces of equipment that they can use, I mean, So we limit leaf blowers. So then how about when somebody says, oh, I can't stand the sound of saws in, you know, in a place that's being built out? Then do you tell the contractors, oh, you can only use one saw, or you can't use saws? I mean, I don't think it's reasonable to put hours restrictions on businesses that need to use this equipment, and then to tell them, okay, now you can't use this because some people complain. I don't think that it's right to limit. They're not going to use equipment that they don't need to use to get the job done. And the job being done is different on the fields, at the cemeteries, in residences. Typically, once you get into mowing season, typically they're only going to use one leaf blower at a time anyway. But if they need to use two, they need to use it. So I don't think it's reasonable to say how they've got to accomplish their work.
Yeah, I would agree, but I also, like Tim said earlier, if you want to put in parentheses to be dealt with at the public forum, we can maybe table that. Cindy's got her hand up, but that, you know, maybe we can get some kind of input from the public forum. And I mean, Lisa, go ahead.
Yeah, I think public forum's a good place to get some input. And I just want to remind you that this allows for cleanup in the spring, cleanup in the fall. And so we're trying to encourage them to use less equipment, and not because there won't be leaves on the ground during the heat of summer. The leaves will be on the trees. They're just blowing grass clippings. So if we whittle it down to one blower, as you had mentioned, Cindy, they seem to maybe go down. They tend to go down to one. So then let's just have them stay at one and not have multiple pieces of equipment going.
I can see that. And if it's not really a problem, then why are we addressing it? That would be my thing. And I would say to take it out, but I think it's fair to leave it in for public input, but
Well,
you know,
just to remind you,
address the
I
problem
actually
that
didn't
isn't
want
really
any.
happening?
I didn't want any. And I didn't want any during that time. And so I've been compromising. And so if we can limit it to one, because there might be this tendency for like, oh, well, we don't have any restrictions on using it, and we don't have any decibel levels, so no one's going to call if it really is intrusive. We're at least trying to restrict some of the noise for our residents here.
Okay.
Thanks.
So is X and P not really like a 1 and 2, A and B kind of mindset? Anybody?
I don't even think you have to number them. It's just two sentences.
Well, we need to, when we talk about this, we need people to be able to identify which one they're talking
Right.
about. So
That's fine. You can leave it that way.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, when we get the document, just like the minutes, we should number it. And then people can identify where they're talking in the document by page number, you know, by line number.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, that was pretty easy to start to do.
Okay, so we've been all over. This one might be easy to tackle. Following activities are prohibited if they are noisy.
Tim, can we clean up some of the crossouts?
Can
so
we
can
just
get
say
more
if
of a-
they create noise rather than are noisy?
Yeah, how's that going to work if eventually people go to electric? Does electric doesn't make as much noise, right?
I mean, it's not as much, it still makes noise, but I mean, like if somebody's leaf blowing their yard at
No,
11:30,
I'm saying for that one we were just dealing with.
it says gas powered in
It
the,
does.
in,
No, it doesn't.
oh, this one should say gas
Okay.
powered.
Okay.
They should line up the same.
Yep, that addresses it.
I mean, this covers what we would, and it's better than noisily.
Mm.
I can't cross this off here to that point because this is that section Heather's working on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I can't do anything about that right at the moment.
Right.
Maybe, do we want to start at the top and just can jump through? We already got through half of it, so we can get through the rest, I hope.
Okay.
What time is it? You want to take a break?
Time is it?
8:26.
Why don't we take, we've been at it an hour and a half, so why don't we take a, we're gonna do a 5 or a 10?
Let's just do 4. Want to get done early tonight.
A 5.
Okay. See you at 8:31.
Four's good.
5-minute break, folks.
See you in 4.
Hey, little girl, what are you doing? You looking for a snack? Hi. Hi, what you doing, huh? Being a good girl? Yeah. Oh. Stretching, stretching, stretching.
Anyone watching the Olympics? Oh, I can't hear you, John.
We've been intermittently watching them.
Yeah. I haven't. I just saw that the half pipe's on right now for snowboarders.
You got to tell me when curling's on.
Oh, I have seen a little bit of the curling. I think that was like one of the first events.
It's my favorite
You
event.
want to fall asleep?
No. Every time the stones hit, you get the drink.
Oh, fun.
Well, that'll certainly improve it. Maybe that's why they like it so much in Michigan.
Have you ever gone curling in, I think it's in Wayland?
We want to do that with my team, except with COVID, we hadn't been able to.
Yeah, I did that quite a few years ago. My kids were little. It was fun.
Yeah, it definitely looks like something that's a lot more fun to do than it is to watch.
Unless you're
I saw-
drinking.
I saw the inside of one of those stones. I don't know what the technical term is, but like the inside is packed full of technology in the top of it. And I had no idea that there was all that stuff inside there. But apparently it's like the sensors that go across like the line where they go, and it's, to let them do a lot of mapping of it. But I had no idea that there was a bunch of technology in that sport.
Wow.
And even bowling balls have a lot of technology, although it's not electronic technology. But apparently they're not solid. They manipulate the moment of inertia of the ball so that they do different things depending on how they put it together. It's actually pretty interesting. Not the bowling balls that you get to rent, but the ones that you have made for yourself if you do it a lot.
I didn't know that.
He's full of all kinds of fun facts. Do we miss, is Cindy on?
Sydney's there.
Okay. I wonder if before we get into this, if we can maybe touch base with Heather and see how she's making out.
Was she there?
Oh, yeah, let me
thought
just
she
email
popped
it
up.
back to Tim.
Oh, awesome.
I'm sorry, it's not any shorter, but.
Okay, so what I just got back, I believe I copy and pasted right. Is this?
Yeah, it's very similar to what you sent me.
So the yellow is what you're proposing?
Yep, which is basically what Tim sent me.
I mean, this is what we said. It's pretty clean and
Yeah.
straightforward.
I think we need to change the order of Southborough Board of Health.
Sorry, guys. The font being different is bothering me. I'm just cleaning it real quick.
The
Okay.
Southborough Board of Health will lead enforcement with the assistance from the police department. Because the way that's written, it says Southborough Board of Health
Yes,
with the assistance of the police department. It means almost insinuates the police department will lead the enforcement when it's going to be really the Board of Health. You just flip it, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Pete, spell it out for me.
The Southborough Board of Health will lead enforcement,
I'm in right here, right? This is where we
right,
are.
will lead enforcement with the assistance from the police department. So you can get rid of that, will lead enforcement afterwards.
Is this an Oxford comma situation here?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
So that commercial source study conduct, is that the authority granted under one of those CMRs or?
well, it's sort of implied because to be 10 decibels, that's that whole, like, if it's 10 decibels above ambient.
Yeah,
So
where
that
does
kind
it
of
say, where does
implies
it
a
say
noise
that, I guess?
study.
Is it says that 10 decibels in that CMR 710?
Yeah.
In the DAQC policy 90.001, it sort of implies it, but it doesn't kind of spell it out. And so that's where I have seen that the town bylaws can be helpful for this.
How about for any violations of DAC or whatever that 9-001, right at the end, for any violations of,
310 CMR,
no, I think it's the DACQ, right? The DAQC? Whatever,
the DAQC.
yeah. I mean, you could actually probably leave the numbers out because what if there's another
Yeah.
policy? You know, what if they change it?
I don't think you need to put that last edit in because, it's all in one paragraph and so it refers to it as I think you
Yeah, but
were implying.
The reason why I say it should be in there is because if you don't, then it looks like the bylaw is providing the guidelines for the violation.
I don't think it hurts to leave it in.
What's this? What does this one mean? I've seen it pop
That's a
up.
subsection.
Yeah, I think that's part of the regulation.
It's a subsection, yeah.
So that's the same thing as that weird squirrely S looking thing.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, take the space out between the 0 and the open parentheses. Yeah, like that. And then it will, like you have, right, exactly. And then it will, Word will keep it together. And it won't look like you're starting to enumerate things.
Okay. I thought it was like a versioning thing.
So I think this is where the presentation and education portion of the bylaw, like when we talk about it, when we bring it up at maybe a town meeting, we can say, look, folks, I know you didn't study this, but section on the business and industrial noise, that's nothing new. That's what already exists. We just wanted to advertise it. So we could actually sell it, you know, by saying there's no trick here. We're not adding anything more. It's what's already the rule of the land. We just wanted to make sure everybody knows that there are rules out there that already exist. Is that fair to say, Heather?
Yep.
So, I mean, we could bring that out as far as at the town meeting floor, however we decide to do. Well, it
This
sounds
could
like
be,
the selectmen are going to have us do the presentation.
yeah, I was gonna say could be part of that presentation for like, this is
Yeah.
just running down.
So I'm comfortable with the way that's written right now. If hopefully, if anybody's dissenting, speak up, please. And if not, we can get rid of all the other colors and lines.
Bye.
Aye.
Yep.
Sounds like Lisa, where's
I'm all set.
oh, okay.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Heather.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank
Heather.
you.
Very
This
much.
was great.
When she popped up, Lisa disappeared on my lineup.
We don't want to keep this yellow anymore, right?
Correct.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Do we have to spell out Southborough Board of Health where your cursor is?
It's spelled out right here, right above it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good. And I see it's in parentheses. That's fine.
Yeah, I did that the last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We have any more?
Well, we if we're good with that section, we can move to another section where we have yellow.
All right.
We have the scope still.
Are we done with everything?
Um,
So we talked about going back at the end.
we can get rid of alerts for abutters now.
Yep.
Chief, this one was on you. Is this the right Mass General Law and subsection for this area?
You know what? Give me a minute. I can look it up right now. I'll just Google it and it'll tell me everything I need to know.
Okay, so once we'll give Chief a couple of minutes to check on that. So I'm going to keep going down. Oh, this was words that never got looking the same. I don't think that we need to.
Yep.
Are they going by select board now, or, because didn't it go back? Did it?
It went back, but it's my understanding as soon as they get approval from the Attorney General, then it will take effect then. They're gonna wait till that happens. So more than likely by the time this hits the town meeting floor, that'll have happened.
Okay,
So it's fluid, as they would say.
Definitions are going to come later. Severability, this will come from the meeting with Jay Tollerman.
So what, can we
Oh, wait,
get rid
can
of
we-
the green then? What
blue?
is,
Yeah, so this was from one of the documents, and then this was from Chief's document. So are we just going with the secondary one?
yeah, I would say get rid of the green.
Yeah. I would get rid of my screen is blue, but yeah.
Or blue, green, yeah.
But all this should be in that color technically for legal review,
Okay.
unless we don't want to have it presented that way.
I mean,
But-
they're gonna review the whole document as a whole, but, and I'll, when I send this in to Mark Purple, I'll say, heavy emphasis on the, green area.
Okay, so I'm going to leave it this way for now.
Yeah. I mean, I think the guy can read it, obviously, with the, And we can also, when we present that to the selectmen, we could say, look, that's under review for the lawyer to tell us if we need it or not.
Guys, we're at 4 pages right now,
Yay.
in case you wanted to know.
Cool.
We still gotta finish the definitions, like we got a lot to add into there, but for the most part, it's not too bad. The only thing in yellow still is this top scope section, I think, unless I missed something, and then Chief comes back to us when he's ready.
Tim, can you go back to it just so I got the right MGL?
Yep, sorry, guys.
Chief, I think that was the Board of Health thing.
Yeah,
The Board of Health in compliance with 21A, Section 8. That's a Board of Health thing, not the police thing.
yeah, you're right. That's why I just asked again. I'm looking at it and it just gives powers and duties to the Board of Health.
Right. And it should say the police department shall be charged with the enforcement of the provisions of this bylaw, not chapter. The Board of Health and Compliance shall assist in the enforcement of this bylaw.
Do we need to have mass general law to enact that? Would it just be the Board of Health shall assist?
Right. Probably you could just say that, yeah, the Board of Health shall assist. It's funny because it's the opposite with industrial noise.
Well, is it, I mean, does that create a loophole because there's no reference to that? I just, like, it's not strong enough and there's some way to get around it because it's not there?
Well, I mean, we're saying it in industrial noise. We do articulate in that section.
No, but I'm just saying in the enforcement section there.
Right.
Like, why wouldn't we just keep that there?
Keep what the,
What you were
21A?
gonna take out, the MGLC in compliance with.
I
mean,
think that's something
Well,
for the
is-
lawyer.
Is that in the section we just finished?
it isn't. That's why I'm surprised it isn't.
Well,
That's
then-
probably
21A, it's not in that
It's
industrial
part of
noise
enforcement.
section.
right, but this is part of enforcement, right?
Right.
I feel like this piece here, we don't need. We could just say the police department and Board of Health shall be charged with the enforcement of the provisions of this bylaw. And then it would say a duly designated police officer or Board of Health employee shall be an enforcement official.
I think it cites the MGL, just that it gives the Board of Health the power of enforcement. Obviously, I mean, this came right from my draft and, you know, that was taken from somebody else's bylaw. So just in looking at it quick, I just think it cites what gives the Board of Health the power to enforce the bylaw, but it's something that the lawyer is going to have to take a look at. If he says that it should stay in there, then it stays in there.
So put it in teal.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally think that this section sounds at odds as a person reading through this compared to what we just had. If we would just say the police department and Board of Health shall be charged with the enforcement of the provisions of this bylaw.
I tend to agree with you.
I do
yeah,
too.
I like it that way, the shorter way.
So that would just go away. So it would read like,
And I think the next sentence can go away too.
Right, I do too. Yeah.
I would leave it with the line through it and ask when you get the legal opinion whether it can go or not.
What,
Do-
the one we just crossed out or
Yeah.
the last one?
The one you just crossed out.
Okay,
oops.
whoops.
Yeah.
And can we take out the last sentence?
Yeah, I think where that was probably cut and pasted from something else. We don't refer to enforcement official in the rest of the document, so I
Yes,
think
we
that.
do,
that's
right
sense,
above
so-
it.
Yeah, we do.
Paragraph above it, we do. Yeah.
I think we need it. I mean, it explains.
I guess, yeah.
I think, because of that, I think we need it.
Do we have that in?
Or you could, you
We'll
could
put it
just
in
actually put it in the definitions. Yes,
Yeah. I was gonna say
Yeah.
definitions.
Right.
yeah. Put
So
that-
why don't we
that.
add it right into definitions?
So what would this definition say?
Enforcement
Enforcement.
officer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then you can get rid of the one below.
You mean this one?
that last sentence, yeah.
Because we moved it. And that makes more sense to have it there in
Yeah.
definitions.
Would be of this bylaw, not chapter again. Next on B. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah,
Can we see, there's more to this one, right?
again, bylaws and C.
I think that looks pretty good.
Okay, can we clean up in definitions? There's after industrial noise, it says to be wordsmith, though it's not in yellow.
It's in, what did we say? It's
And I think
industrial.
down
and-
below, we have business and industrial noise. I don't think we need both of them, do we?
I mean, I don't know if this section's really. Number one, it's hard to tell which is what right now.
Exactly, yeah. Is there a way we can
That's
put
better.
Yeah.
the things in bold or something?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to go back and clean this up like
Or
that.
underline them or something?
Yeah, so we have two right now, industrial noise. Then this was the one that we were going to use.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna actually cross off this for now because this isn't the right.
Definition.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm gonna just do that, put it down here to see if we want to steal anything from it.
Well, I think the part that's not lined out talks specifically about our zones, right?
Yeah,
Except we still don't know what the critical resource is, but it should probably include the downtown district.
yeah, so this can go,
Yeah, get rid of the yellow. Yeah.
I feel like this can go away.
Yeah, nobody knows what it is, so why don't we take it out?
Right.
And is the downtown district gonna be swapped out with the village business district?
No, they're two different districts.
Oh, they are, okay.
Yeah, the area that just got downtown district was the business village district, and it's been rezoned to the downtown district.
Okay,
And again, that's another AG thing. So until the AG approves that, it's not actually
right.
a thing yet.
Should we still keep it highlighted just in case?
I don't think we need to. I mean, the likelihood of some of those things not going through seems low from my understanding. So I think we should just make it as it should manifest itself.
I'm okay with that.
So
We can take out the lined out part.
is, just, so we're identifying business and industrial noise location. And then further in the document, we talk about industrial noise, which is throughout the whole town. Are we contradicting ourselves there?
Well, you don't have industrial business or industrial noise if you're in a residential zone or at a residential house.
But those things that we cited, the CMRs and the DEP, all that, does it say that in there? I don't think it does. Like, I don't want to be limiting something that isn't already limited. It is not limited already. Like, we're limiting it to just those areas.
Right,
When in
because-
fact, it may exist throughout the whole state.
Business and industrial noise to be regulated by that regulation.
Right.
So we're keeping it within that. We're keeping it within that section, but honestly, that regulation governs any noise.
Right. Yeah, but it governs any area.
Yeah,
So why are we taking, all right, say we have the whole state of Massachusetts, and now we're just saying, oh, only in these sections. Like, we're making it kind of worse.
No, we're keeping it so it doesn't apply to homeowners.
But it does under the state statute currently.
but we've created standards within Southborough that go above the state standards with our times.
Right.
I mean, the way that definition is written for this section is to not have homeowners have the zoning of the homeowner in Res A, Res B to be affected by a business specific call out. And to keep it clear that Res A and Res B isn't part of this section. That's the way that definition, I'm going back to the definition. That's the way the definition is written. Here it is.
I think, was that from Heather's? Is that Heather's that's still up in the background, or is that a different one?
This is the Chiefs 2017 version. I can pull up the other version.
Okay, no, guess not.
No. So.
But
hang
I
on.
think, I know that Heather at one point said it is targeted into businesses that have big, like HVAC systems.
Yeah. I mean, like this, I don't have a problem with the way that this is right now because it's keeping it specific and away from Res A and Res B.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what the appropriate point of this was, where we
All right.
didn't want to.
No, I'm fine with it too. I'm just trying to throw it out there if, like, we could be making more noise, you know?
Well, I mean,
That's
like
all.
it's. I see what you're saying. I don't think so because there's other rules that are really specific for all of that stuff. It's just
I'm
keeping
fine.
it.
If you guys are cool with it, I'm fine. I'm just bringing up, you know, something that as a consideration. I'm fine. I'm definitely comfortable with it.
Okay. So we got the definitions with that one fixed. I think the only thing in yellow specifically is the scope.
So can we finish this one off?
I know we pointed out before that utilizing established maximum noise levels, like this was copy and pasted, so this isn't something we're exactly doing.
Right.
I think that first sentence is like a split sentence. That first apostrophe should be a period. And then the it should be capital.
Yeah.
Is that my grammar teacher saying yes?
Yeah.
Am I looking in the right? You're talking about right here?
You're-
Yeah.
Yep,
That
that's
should be
it.
a period.
That has a period and the I is capitalized.
Right.
I think that just kind of sums it up and is a good introduction.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm happy with that.
With the whole thing as it stands?
No,
Yeah.
just the first sentence, right?
Oh, I like both.
I like both sentences together.
But wait, no, hold on. We got more than two sentences. So first sentence goes to here now.
Right.
Second
Oh,
sentence
oh,
goes
I
to
like-
here.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then there's a chunk in yellow here, which looks like one sentence. So there's three sentences here.
but we're not, through the reduction, control, and prevention of noise by utilizing established maximum noise levels.
Yeah, we have to
And
get
we're
rid of,
not using that.
Of noise by utilizing.
We have to put in that we talked about times. So I would say,
I mean, do we, I know that there's a desire to keep this. Is there an easy way to rewrite what this is to be something to keep? Because I'm in favor of deleting this last piece.
if not, it's not that crucial. It's in the scope anyway, so.
Like, if we can get the point across easily, then maybe, but like we have it above it. It almost seems redundant.
Yeah, that's fine.
Quick question. So Tim, at the reduction, control, and prevention of noise through by improving people's lives. I'm just trying to figure out how to get rid of all the last two lines and just.
I think you can get rid of everything in yellow.
Through the
I
reduction.
mean, we got all this up here, and then we have standards down here, and exterior noise standards further explains this, what this is trying to do. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. This
Okay.
section here.
I'm
further
for getting rid of it.
I hear your points. I'd say get rid of the yellow.
Yeah, get rid of the yellow.
2, 3.
I like that line.
I,
It frames it out a little bit more. It tells them, we've talked about noise levels between premises, noise producing activities. It's kind of outlining some of the stuff. So I like it. And it talks about inspections and, I think it just gives a good overview of what's to come.
but if you're gonna have a bylaw, you're obviously gonna have inspections and penalties. I just don't think you need it.
Well, people may not know that that's what's in a bylaw. So we're putting it right out front.
I find it redundant with exterior noise standards, which already covers a lot of what this is.
What was your take on it?
So I'm looking at whether we could just do something with the second sentence. And so you've got the second sentence that says it is the policy of the town of Southborough to do this. And then this sentence says this bylaw is enacted to protect the citizens of Southborough. So what if we change the second sentence to say something like, this bylaw is enacted to, and then say, prevent excessive sound which may jeopardize the health and welfare, and just call it at that. Because I think that, honestly, I think adding all the other things in that list dilutes the statement.
Mhm.
But rather than saying it's the policy that say,
Right.
it says this bylaw is to protect the citizens. Enacted to protect.
Protect the citizens. You gotta add more to it.
Yeah, this bylaw is enacted,
There you go.
yeah, to protect the citizens of Southborough, Massachusetts, if we need Massachusetts. And then
Well,
it'll
you've
say,
already said in the first sentence, you've already said the citizens, so we don't need to, of Southborough. So
oh,
we
yeah,
don't
you're
need to
right.
say that again.
Guess what, guys? Just leave the first two sentences and I'll back away from it because I know the rest of you, if we took a vote, would just say it needs to leave.
So
So
Lisa, this is
I'm
stronger.
fine. Just go ahead and do that.
No, at least projecting is stronger sentence and simpler. I like this.
and then it would be by preventing excessive sound which may jeopardize the health.
Will protect.
And then we get rid of the second, the last sentence.
Right. Should.
I'm not a big fan of this protect the citizens wording. I think what we had before, which now I'm at a loss for what it was.
So that what if we took out protect the citizens by preventing and replaced that all those words with minimizing? So it became this bylaw is acted to minimize excessive sound which may jeopardize.
Yeah, that sounds
I
good.
like that.
Yep. I like that. Because we're not preventing it, but we are trying to limit it.
Yeah.
And I like minimize better than limiting
I do too.
as a word, because limiting sounds like, like you're being more heavy-handed than minimizing, which is really what our goal is to minimize excessive sound. Because we're not going to get rid of it.
So you want to get rid of the yellow then?
Yep, you can get rid of that big yellow.
So we can get, do we need the A? I don't think we need the A.
No, we don't.
Not anymore.
And so that section's done.
Cool.
It's 9:09. We got a couple more little things we could do that I think we could, I think we probably got a pretty good run at this now.
The one thing that I think we could quickly knock out, I hope, was the legal holiday definition. I know we were back and forth on this, so do we want to let this go for now, or do we want to do something different?
I think we have a next, we could probably deal with that at the next meeting. We'll do that for homework.
Okay.
And Tim, what I'd like to do is, could you circulate that draft that we have right then and there to the committee right now? So it's easily accessible for our homework, or we can review it prior to the next meeting.
Yep.
So is that going to be version 5 now?
It's version 4, if my versioning is correct.
I think
Yeah,
you're
I
right.
think so.
I sent there is a Heather, delete the version that I sent you because I just gave it to you while we were working on it.
And Heather,
But
if
I
there's
thought
something-
version 4 was before we started making all these changes to
yeah,
it.
we should
Okay.
probably change that to version 5.
No, it's actually version 4. Tonight's document is version 4 that we just went through.
Okay.
Version 3 is where we left off at the last meeting.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay.
So
Version
tonight we
4
were working on version
refer to
4.
it in the minutes as.
Okay,
It's version 4. If you guys want me to call it version 4B, so it can't be misunderstood with the version I already sent to Heather, so she could work on her section.
No, because this is the version that's going to go with the minutes. So just version 4 is good.
okay.
Okay, so
I just want to get it out to the committee so we have something to work on, because our minutes aren't getting always approved in timely manner,
All right, I won't look at the
which
old
is
one.
mostly my fault.
I'll work on this before the Super Bowl.
So
I
that's
have a
done.
question. If we have, if you send us those, that version 4, is it all right for us to share that with other residents
Why not?
for feedback?
It's a free country.
Okay,
Right,
good to
right.
know.
Public
I mean, it's
record.
public
Make sure.
document.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, so the answer is yes, it's a public document. The response of what we get back needs to just be something we can action in some sort of way. So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's just listening to their feedback.
Tim, does that have the word draft watermarked on it?
it does.
Okay,
And I was asked for what, two things. We need to do line numbers, right? That was something
Yeah.
that we requested.
yeah.
And changes. Okay, I gotta do two things, so that way we can track any changes. Okay, I'm about to send it. We don't have to, I'm just doing this in the background.
Yeah, I mean, we want to be inclusive as possible. So if we get a document, we send it, you know, it's not written in stone. We get a lot of input. Somebody brings up something we didn't think about. Yeah, we could change it.
And in fact, as a result of the public forum, it may well get changed.
Right. And the selectmen may change it, and it could get changed at town meeting floor. A lot of things could happen. While Tim's doing that, so the next thing I have is public forum and promotion. I have on my record, the public forum is going to be 7 p.m. February 24th. We're still good with that date?
Yep.
And we got to get the word out. Looks like we're going to get it on the DPW signs. I think Cindy sent a nice email to the DPW.
Yeah, Neil Spacey that takes care of the SEMA sign said he's still working on the issues of it working intermittently, and he's hoping to have it up and running this weekend.
And John, can you mention that to this myself, bro?
Yeah, that'll be taken care of. Anything else you guys need? The library, the senior center?
I can reach out to the library. I've got a contact there. So,
Does the senior center have like a newsletter or anything? Do we know? They must have.
It's
some-
like every 2 months that they do it.
Oh,
yeah,
Okay.
they're not on site, right?
yeah, I
Yeah,
would think
I
not
think
because
the
of the
staff
COVID,
is
I would
on
think.
site.
okay.
Okay,
But no one's coming in.
right.
Like you
Right,
can't even
yeah, I
put
would-
up a
not with
flyer.
COVID. Not with
Yeah.
COVID. So we'll just run with that then, I guess. Can anybody think of any other advertisement we should do?
I'll put it up on nextdoor.com. I did get a few people who commented back on it, so I'll just put it up for everybody who wants to come in.
Okay,
Can we get the town clerk to put it under public meetings?
I have to post it.
Yeah.
So
can
that'll
you
get-
have them post it?
You know what, I'll post it, right away.
And could they tweet about it too?
Ooh.
That's Selectman's
Yeah.
office.
Yeah, they can. We need, keep forgetting their names. They're in the office. now.
Vanessa.
Barry,
Vanessa.
Hale and Katie Berry.
Katie Berry. So yeah, if they could send a tweet out.
So who's
Yeah.
gonna contact them?
That public forum, do you want me to try and include that to be a committee meeting as well, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll meet immediately concluding it.
So it'll be a meeting and then it'll say public forum will be one of the pieces of the meeting.
That sounds like
that's
a
how you
good
did it
idea.
last time.
Okay,
And then we can close the public forum and then move into the other piece of the meeting.
I'll just put in the heading, public forum somehow. I'm not exactly sure I'm gonna do that, but
We were talking about two things a second ago about tweets. I can do the tweet piece, and then sending to that list of people that already asked about things. I can lead that too, now that we have the document to send, because I need to figure out from Jay how to do that, and I'm already in those conversations.
Sure,
okay.
that's good. So you can, you can attach, so you're gonna take care of the one that's going out this week, hopefully, or next week,
Yeah,
right?
as soon as Jay gets me set up with whatever I need, I'll get that email sent out for the heads up notice.
Great. Thank you, Tim.
Okay, so we're pretty good set on the public forum.
Yep.
As part of the agenda, the public comment, we want to close out the public comment. Do we have anybody there that's,
There's nobody here, so I'm gonna make a motion to close public comment.
okay, I'll second that. Do we have to vote on it?
I think so. I think
Hold
technically,
with your hands up if you want to close public comment. It's unanimous by signal of everybody. Future meetings, just a reminder, next Thursday at 7 PM is what I have. And I will, I'm
Oh, it's
going to
next
post that as
Thursday?
well.
Yes, yeah, it looks like all our meetings are on Thursdays unless we change them.
Okay.
Do we, does anybody want anything special on the agenda? I'm just going to do the basic agenda like we have.
I think we should talk about the presentation to the town meeting or whatever.
Okay. Well, we got two presentations. One will be in front of the selectmen,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other one's going to be in front of town meeting.
So let's talk about both of those.
So I'll put that on the agenda as well. I'll bang those out first thing tomorrow.
are we in a position, Pete, for you to be able to go to Jay Tellerman's office hours with what we have now?
So I did email Mr. Purple requesting, to meet with that attorney. Is that the attorney? Is that his name? I don't even know his name.
Yeah, I
And
believe
he
it.
basically said, send me the document. If you want, I can pursue that a little bit more and say we want to meet with him. I kind of got the impression that he didn't say that was a possibility, but if I urge that we, if you
Yeah.
think we need to meet with him, then I'll send him another email.
I just
but-
know that Sam Stiver said the process was physical one-to-one meetings during office hours. So if that's not what we need to do, then there's no reason to have to go there.
Right.
But his office hours are next week, so we just have to know what has to happen. If you can't do it, somebody else has to do it.
Well, I can certainly do it, but Mr. Purple didn't say for me to go. He just said, send me the document. That's what he said.
Okay.
So,
Well,
do
we
we
now
think
have a
that that's-
document.
do we think that's the 16th or the 23rd?
Isn't it the 14th? Do I have something off on my notes? For some
I
reason,
thought it was on a Wednesday.
yeah, I think it's next week though.
That would be
16th.
the
16th is a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's the 16th. So next Wednesday is when that would have to happen.
Do we want to send them the draft 4? I guess that's all we can do, really. Send them the draft and say, this is what we're working on. We need to please pay attention to the items in teal and any other items of concern.
Yeah,
Is
I
that,
Yep.
we need
Tim, why
to
don't-
make some headway with that. Yeah.
since you have that document right there, and can you just send that email right now in conjunction with me, and then
Yeah.
send it to Mark Purple?
Yep.
So the ball's rolling on that. Put my name on it too. I don't like to do anything without everybody knowing it.
Thank you.
So basically say, here's the draft, forwarded for your review. Please pay attention to the items in teal.
Yeah, particular attention. Yeah.
Right. Correct. Yeah, whatever you
Yeah,
want.
particular attention. That's a good way.
That's
to
why
put
we're doing it together.
it.
Anybody know offhand when that selectman meeting is? Because I might have to post that as a meeting too.
Isn't it next week? Don't they have it? Like the second and the fourth, the first and the third or something like that? I don't remember. Where
Does
are
anybody
we?
have a computer handy that could pull those meetings up?
It only shows this week.
It wasn't this week because I looked for it because I thought it was this week too.
Is it Tuesdays? Usually Tuesdays?
It's usually Tuesdays, but
Hmm.
The next select board is Tuesday, the 15th. I don't know about their other ones, but their next one is the 15th.
Okay.
so then it looks like it's March 1st then.
That doesn't, what did, let me look back to my notes.
Because that's going to be another meeting I'll have to post, even though we might not, well,
Oh, the other thing I had a note of is we got to figure out where this, and this is for probably the lawyers, where does this fit in the town code?
it stands alone, just like the marijuana bylaw.
Hmm.
And I think we still have to verify the end timeline of when this has to be all put together to get posted, which I think is the end of the month. Right?
I think Sam left already, so we can't ask him.
Yeah, I think that was the other thing too, is I believe you checked on that already, Pete. Like this has to be kind of buttoned up by the end of the month. Not finished, but
That's why I'm trying to find out when the last selectmen's meeting is, so we can get on the agenda.
I don't have anything in my notes for when the next, it says schedule update with BOS mid-February. That's all my notes say. So pretty much next week is mid-February, so that would make sense.
First and third Tuesday of every month, so that would be the 15th.
Heather said.
That's what it says on the website.
So we gotta be ready for next week's update too on Tuesday night and get that on the agenda.
Yeah, so then we got to talk about what we're going to do at that meeting.
That was just a quick update though, isn't it?
I think it's a quick update saying like, here's a draft of where we are. We could send
Okay,
the
if
whole
if
board.
that's what you want to do.
I don't think we need to do anything besides send the board the draft of where we are and say, this is the draft that we have. We're asking legal review of it.
Public forum scheduled.
Public forums being scheduled, and we have more work to do in the definitions, but for the most part, we feel pretty confident in the direction it's going in. Let us know if you have any concerns or questions.
I like
Okay.
that.
Do you want to, do we want to draft that email right to Mr. Purple?
I just sent that one.
No, a new one now saying we want to be on the next selectmen's meeting.
It's, I think Lisa Braccio has to. Mark, it should go to him too, but I think Lisa's the one that sets the agenda
Okay,
as the chair.
you want to do that as a group right now, or do you want me to do it?
Sure, let's just do it
Yeah, why don't we send it to Lisa and Mark right now? So we'd like to be put on the agenda
for a quick update.
for a quick update.
You want me to write it? I have it at half.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
Because my computer's tied up with lack of knowledge by the operator.
What's the meeting date? 2/15? Is that the,
I believe so, yes. And we're gonna have to know that pretty quickly because I gotta post the meeting.
Do you need to post it if we're not gonna like all go?
Yeah.
If you're just gonna go, really?
You know, that's why we didn't get in that the last
Oh,
time. one
right,
time.
right. Yeah,
And then there's that, it doesn't have a quorum and that's all we end up putting.
It's crazy.
but you can
know.
go ahead and post it, right? And if they say no, we just cancel the
Right, but you
meeting.
should really put the times and, you know, yeah, you're right. I could post a potential cancelable meeting. And maybe I will. What time does the selectmen's meeting start usually? 6?
6:30, I think is
6:30.
typical.
Maybe I will do that, Cindy. Maybe that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I could just post it just to cover us.
yeah. My God, I don't think we've ever been this productive.
We're doing really good.
Wow.
So I could be potentially posting 3 meetings tomorrow.
And do we
They'll
need
overwhelm the
to,
website and they'll have a denial of service attack.
do we need to, because I know Tim has to get reservations for our meetings. Do we need to post our next committee meeting for the week after the 24th? Or not post it, but for Tim to do his thing to grab the time slot?
It wouldn't hurt. So here's one thing at a time.
Okay.
My email to the Lisa Braccio and Mark Purple is we'd like to join your agenda for the 2:15 BOS meeting and provide an update of our current process. I guess progress, not process. Progress in regards to the draft noise bylaw. Please find draft V4 attached to be shared with the board if desired. Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, and that say it was voted on, this was with approval of the entire committee. It's not just you sending it, it's from the whole committee.
We need to give a thumbs up. So I can
Or-
record the
Or
vote.
maybe we can put comma as vice chairman. Maybe we could put that in. I think I have to send somebody a notification of that too. I don't know who, but
Probably Mark Purple.
I don't think it was him. Somebody who deals with the committees over there. I don't know who. I'll look on my email.
Oh, is
Somebody
that the town clerk's office?
It could be. It could be.
Barry, maybe?
Yeah, it could be.
Hmm.
Because I know originally they wanted the officers, and I remember the scribe, I said we're going to share it.
Hmm.
And it's funny, I did not get a formal notification other than Sam Stivers about Mr. Lapine.
No, huh?
I didn't
And
get
it-
like a letter.
Nothing
or
got
anything.
sent to the commit, to all of us, so it's kind of weird.
Okay, that's sent.
And he's still listed on the town's website as being a member.
Yeah, I wonder if I should inquire about that.
What was the next thing we just said? Oh, reserve the room.
Do we, right, do we want to, Tim, all these meetings that I'm gonna put the agendas on, I'll CC you and I'll CC the IT guy.
Yeah.
Do we want to pick the next meeting in March?
So in that first week in March, to Wednesday, the 2nd is much better for me because it's completely open. Thursday, the 3rd, I've got a meeting at 7 o'clock. So I would be either late or we'd have to move it to 7:30.
I'm okay with the second.
So the Wednesday's the 2nd, right? Ash Wednesday?
Correct. Wednesday's March 2nd.
It's fine with me.
So from a timing standpoint, theoretically, the warrant article would have to be posted. Is it warrant article? Whatever actually has to get posted and whatever the title is would be posted theoretically at the end of February as I understand it. So whatever we're doing would have to be wrapped up by the end of February if we have any further changes. To be as presented at the meeting, the way that I understand it. So like if anything else would have to be either whatever the process is for revision, if we're within the timeline that allows that, and then you'd get a paper handout theoretically at town meeting and say, here's the new version of this document that was updated, whatever. Or it would be a live amendment if we had any changes.
Well, I'll put it on them what they want to do when I meet with them on Tuesday. If I get to meet with them on Tuesday, I'll say, this is where we're standing. This is where we are. What are you looking for? What do you see? What do you expect? How do we go from here? I'll put it on them. We don't have to fix that
And
out.
push them for
We don't know,
dates.
so.
Push
Okay,
them for dates at this point.
Yeah.
Like, when do you need what to you?
Right. I'll ask them for the timeline, and I mean, we're pretty close. We're already gonna have judicial review, in-house judicial review. There's not much more we're gonna really do. It sounds like we got almost the thing pretty much wrapped up. We got a couple things that we want input on from the public that we could go, the multiple leaf blowers that are on the dates there, that section. I think it was 8X, and that's just up in the air one. Everything else is pretty well agreed upon. Let's see what they say. They may not like it at all. They may sit on it.
yeah, I guess my point was if we need to squeeze another one in February to meet the timing of whatever that posting would be, which I guess we're gonna find out next week what that is, but.
You know what? I would push back on them. Town meeting's not even scheduled yet. We don't know when the warrant's being printed.
Okay, yeah, there's plenty.
We're the only committee that meets every single week. Even the selectmen don't do that.
I mean, I'll meet with the selectmen next Tuesday, possibly. We have a meeting Thursday. We can discuss this all then.
Okay,
Good.
Sounds
I don't
good.
want to speculate what they're gonna say.
so the second at 7,
Yeah, that's fine.
That's good.
What's that? March.
Hold on,
So that's 4 meetings. I'm gonna put 4 agendas I gotta put together. Okay. Well, I can at least post the meeting and then we could update the agenda if we decide to add that's 3 weeks out. A lot's gonna change in those 3 weeks, so I'll at least put out, proper business before that. It'll be a generic thing, and then if we need to do, we can update it as it gets closer. All right, folks. Do we have anything else to go?
Well, my little dog that I'm pet sitting just came out to tell me she does. So if we can wrap it up real soon.
let's do it fast.
Yeah. Well, the dog I was pet sitting last week ate my door jamb and the base to my cellar door because I left for 2 hours. So
We're going, wait 1 minute.
good.
He's wiggling.
That we adjourn.
all right, that's
Second.
second. Let's do a thumbs up.
Yeah,
We have 6
9:36.
thumbs up.
Unanimous.
9:36.
Another great meeting, folks. We're getting there.